Over 500 peer-reviewed studies prove creatine increases strength, builds muscle mass, and protects brain cells. It is the most scientifically validated performance supplement legally available. But walking down the supplement aisle to buy it means navigating a minefield of chemical variations. The battle for your wallet usually comes down to two contenders: the legacy standard, creatine monohydrate, and a heavily marketed alternative called Creatine HCL. We can see the divide immediately by looking at the price. This split-screen comparison shows creatine monohydrate costs about 20 cents per serving. On the right, Creatine HCL demands a massive premium, often costing $1 or more per serving. That is up to a 500% markup. Notice that despite the price gap, both columns promise the exact same biological outcomes: more muscle and better brain function. HCL brands justify their markup by claiming it absorbs better and eliminates bloating. That leaves you with a specific problem. Are you paying a premium for a biological upgrade, or are you paying a marketing tax? To avoid wasting money, we have to strip away the marketing labels and look strictly at what the clinical data proves about human biology. The scientific consensus supporting creatine monohydrate is exhaustive. The physical and cognitive benefits we attribute to creatine have been observed almost exclusively using the monohydrate form in over 500 separate studies. The entire biological goal of taking this supplement is to achieve muscle saturation. By taking 3 to 5 grams of monohydrate daily, your muscle cells act like sponges, continuously absorbing the molecules over a 4-week period until their energy reserves are completely full. Contrast that mountain of data with HCL. There is zero peer-reviewed evidence proving that creatine HCL builds more muscle or increases strength better than monohydrate. To evaluate these supplements, we use a quadrant chart plotting cost on the vertical axis against proven efficacy on the horizontal axis. Monohydrate lands firmly in the high-efficacy, low-cost quadrant, the undisputed gold standard. HCL drops into the high-cost, unproven efficacy zone. We can also look at another popular alternative, liquid creatine. This form is heavily marketed to consumers willing to pay extra for the convenience of a ready-to-drink bottle. The problem here is a fatal chemical flaw. When creatine sits suspended in water for several days, it breaks down into creatinine, a useless waste product that provides zero biological benefit. Because of that degradation, liquid creatine maps as the worst possible investment for both your body and your wallet: high cost, zero efficacy. Attempting to optimize your routine by paying for advanced forms almost always results in physical outcomes equal to or worse than the cheapest powder. There is one valid friction point that drives consumers toward HCL: the fear of stomach cramps, diarrhea, and bloating. Creatine is an osmotically active substance. When it enters your muscle cells, it pulls water in along with it. People frequently mistake this mechanism for subcutaneous, uncomfortable bloating. In reality, this intracellular water retention is a positive biological signal that aids protein synthesis. This bar chart details gastrointestinal distress rates from the 2008 Ostogic study, which identified the specific relationship between how much you take and how your stomach reacts. Taking a massive 10-gram single dose, which is frequently recommended by brands during aggressive loading phases, causes a massive spike in digestive problems, pushing the incidence rate of diarrhea to nearly 56%. Contrast that with the adjacent bar. When that exact same 10-gram amount is split into 2 smaller 5-gram doses, the risk of diarrhea drops by half. It seems gentler on the stomach because its added hydrochloride structure makes it more acidic and water-soluble, dissolving slightly faster in a glass. Before spending a premium on HCL for stomach relief, you should simply stop taking massive loading doses and split your cheap monohydrate into smaller servings. This brings us to the final, most persistent safety anxiety surrounding creatine: the myth that it causes kidney damage or failure. The origin of this myth lies in how the body processes the supplement. As your muscles burn creatine for energy, the molecule fractures into a natural, duller waste byproduct called creatinine. Your kidneys are responsible for constantly filtering this creatinine out of your bloodstream and excreting it. When doctors run routine blood panels to check your kidney health, they look for elevated creatinine as a warning sign. If creatinine is high, it usually means the kidneys are failing to filter the blood. Here is the false alarm. Supplementing creatine artificially spikes the creatinine of blood. This mimics the exact appearance of kidney failure on a test, even when your kidneys are perfectly healthy and doing their job. Decades of long-term human trials prove definitively that creatine does not damage healthy kidneys. The strict medical caveat here is that anyone with pre-existing kidney disease must consult their doctor before altering their blood chemistry with supplements. But for healthy individuals, understanding this simple metabolic byproduct saves you from unnecessary medical panic and allows you to reap the benefits safely. We have the clinical data. Now we can map out a definitive buying guide based on your specific biology and budget. For maximum physical and cognitive return on investment, your path points directly to creatine monohydrate. Buy the cheapest powder and entirely skip the loading phase. If splitting doses still causes severe GI cramps, branch to HCL, accepting a massive financial premium strictly for digestive comfort. The supplement industry thrives on overcomplicating simple biology to sell high-margin products. Don't overpay for basic cellular function. For almost every human body, cheap creatine monohydrate is the only form required for peak physical and cognitive benefits.